Welcome to Twisted Liquid RC Boats. Good day everyone, and welcome back to Twisted Liquid RC Boats and the continuation in our Zippkits SLR Missile Thunderboat build. Today we're going to concentrate on getting our frame started to get glued together. We haven't done any work since we were off camera last. What we're going to do is we're going to break our frame assembly down into a few steps. We're going to glue our bulkheads in first by themselves at a really good 90. While I'm gluing in bulkhead number 3, I'm going to lift it up a little bit with the pieces of wood I made so I get a good fitment with my deck and with my floor later. Once we got our bulkheads glued in at a good 90 with CA glue just to tack them, we're going to mix up a little bit of epoxy. We're going to epoxy it in and let them cure. We'll have our bulkheads done. After that, we're going to come in and concentrate on doing our engine rails and get our engine rails in, epoxied in, and then our third step is we'll come back in with our sides and we'll do our sides. So right now, so we get moving and get some work done, because we haven't got anything done in a couple days, we're going to quickly disassemble our dry bit, and we are going to proceed to take our time and CA glue in our bulkheads. I'm going to wiggle everything apart nice and gently and take my time and not hurt anything. And I knew that was going to happen, but that's no big deal. I don't want them to come out anyways. Alright. Let's make a little room to work. And let's get our CA glue out. I'm going to use some Bob Smith Industries medium CA glue. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to get back to the local hobby shop in order to get some accelerator. So I'm probably going to fast forward a little bit of this as I do it for you guys, as not to bore you too much. But our main concentration now is just taking our time and starting to glue in our CA on our bulkheads. So I'm going to use my square. I'm simply going to hold it at a really good 90 to the jig. Make sure everything's flat. Make sure everything is square. And I'm going to take a tiny little bit of CA glue and I'm just going to put a tack right there. Just a little tack. I'm mainly going to use epoxy later on to hold it. But right now, I'm just interested in getting all these bulkheads in at a really good 90 degree. And once that CA hardens, which should take it a couple seconds, wish I had some accelerator, I'll have some soon guys. It's just a matter of getting across town to our local hobby shop again, but haven't had the chance to do that yet. But it's a quiet Sunday, so I'd like to get some work done on the boat. And I know the steps I gotta do, and I want to do them right. So I'm going to hold a square at a perfect 90 on the leg till I know that CA is good and tacked. I would rather put this boat together right once, do it good, and know that everything I got done is right. I just want you guys to see the steps so that if you guys go and decide to build this boat also, you could easily walk yourself through it without too much of a headache. Our wood's going to have a little bit of spring to it, but that's just because there's nothing else holding it right now. Make sure your bulkhead is all the way down in the slant. Kind of clamp it with your fingers, your hand. Make sure your 90 is good on your leg. Once you got it where you want it, flood in a little tack of CA glue. Hold it and let it harden. If you want to come back and just get the one you're done while you're main thing I'm trying to get, guys, is I'm trying to get the leg out of 90. I know once I release it, it's going to be a little bit flimsy, but that's just till we interlock it with other parts, and then it'll get some structure. This is just your initial gluing in of your bulkheads to get them positioned, and then when you epoxy them in, you know they're good. You know you can't screw them up. And once you get your bulkhead held at a nice 90 on your legs, let it dry. Just put another little tack right there to hold it. Move on to your next one. Once again, as I told you before, guys, make sure that your two holes in all your bulkheads line up with your two holes in your jig. Keep everything on your left hand side on the holes. You'll assemble your boat correctly. It's important that you remember that. Once I get everything out of 90 like I like it, come in with a tack of CA glue, trying to let it flood down a little bit into the slot so that I know it's going to hold. Keep it out of 90 till it do. It's essential we do this in order to keep a square frame to our boat. It's what we want. So use your patience. Let your glue set. And do the work you got to get done. And like I say, remember to make sure you push your bulkhead all the way down into the slot. That way it definitely is flat against your MDF. Everything will be in a line then when you put your boat together. Takes a little bit for this CA glue to set, no accelerator. And I apologize to you guys again for not having any here. Little human accelerator will work, like I say. But I got the patience because I want to keep this at a perfect 90. And the squarer we build this frame, the better of a boat we're going to have when we put it in water this summer. So just let your glue do the work. It's not going to take you that long. That's it. Keep an eye on your work, guys. Use your eyes. Your eyes are going to show you everything in building this boat. Everything you need to see. If you keep things good and square now from the start, and fix the stuff you got to fix as you're going by doing dry fits, do your work, do another dry fit, do your work, you'll have a lot less headaches than if you just get all excited and start putting the boat together. If I gotta move something now, it's just put in with a little bit of CA glue. But if I had this all epoxied in, I'd have a hard time moving anything. So, take your time. Get your bulkheads in square. Don't be in a rush. Whether you have accelerator or not, don't be in a rush. Medium CA glue is not going to take that long to tack hard to hold. So, and like I say, there's going to be a tiny little bit of flimsiness to these pieces until they interlock into something else. But our biggest key right now is getting them at a good 90. And that's what we're doing here. So let's move on to bulkhead number 4 and let them all cure as we're going. Once again, guys, I'm just putting my square against what I'm calling the leg of the bulkhead. Leg being the part that slides into the jig. Just keeping a little bit of finger pressure on the wood. Keep it square and back against my square. I'm using just a little more CA glue on each one now so that if I do take the time to stay here, it's going to harden really good for me. I'm planning on mixing up a small amount of epoxy once I get all these in place. And I'm going to take my time and epoxy all of them solid. Checking them again as I go to make sure that they still are at a 90. This CA glue is essentially a tack, just something to hold it and get your initial angle that you need. We're coming flat off of our jig, which is perfect. So we're getting a really good positioning on our bulkheads. Stop moving them like that. Like I say, use your eyes, guys. You'll be able to see if you're building it square as you're going. You'll know if you're doing it right or wrong. The square ain't gonna lie and your eyes aren't gonna lie, so just use a little patience. Let the glue set. It's just a tack. In case you gotta move it, in case you gotta do anything with it later on, you can. The epoxy you're gonna put over it to hold it and flood into the slots a little bit is going to be your holding solid adhesive. So, this is just to get everything in place. Keep everything at a really good 90. Keep building our frame. As I say, guys, you're going to have a little bit of spring in your wood from just the shape of the part, but once it interlocks into the next piece, you're going to be okay. Now we're up to bulkhead number 3, and we got to lift this guy up because of what we had with fitment issues when we done our dry fit. So I made these little pieces of wood. They fit right down into the slots. I can lightly poke them down with my scissors, just like so. It's all the way down into the slot. Just a little piece of wood, guys, that I used from a craft stick. Just got it the shape of the slot. So now when we put in bulkhead number 3, we're lifting it up a little to get the better fitment that we need for our deck and for our floor later on. I should have on a little more light in here for you guys. I apologize. I'll try and make things a little better. Once again, we're doing the same thing. We're squaring up our bulkhead perfectly to our jig. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep everything flush like it is. I'm going to flood in a good 90 right there to hold this bulkhead square. Level and the square are going to become your best friends building this boat. It's two of the most essential tools you are going to need. It's going to be two of the tools that you're going to use the most. So make sure you got yourself a good level. Make sure you got yourself a good square. And it's going to help you big time in building this boat.
Be a little extra particular when you're doing bulkhead number 3. You want to make sure this bulkhead is good and square. This is where our turn fin is going to mount, our sides are going to mount. Everything is based off of bulkhead number 3. So take your time and make sure you got this bulkhead in good and square. Bulkhead number 2 is next. While gluing in bulkhead number 2, pay extra attention that you've got your 90-degree angle perfect. We will need to have this bulkhead in perfect alignment later when we go to assemble our floor. So it is critical that you get bulkhead number 2 at a good 90 degree. Bulkhead number 1 is the last one to glue in. As with all the rest, make sure you have it at a perfect 90-degree angle to your jig. I cannot stress the importance enough of keeping everything at a perfect right angle. This is the basis of our boat. It is the foundation. If we keep it square now, everything's going to fit later on. Next, mix up some good 30-minute epoxy. Once again, I'm using Bob Smith Industries 30-minute slow cure epoxy. Mix it in equal portions and make sure that you stir it very, very well. After you have your epoxy mixed, take your acid brush and apply a liberal coating of epoxy around all the legs of the bulkheads where they join to the jig. You want to get a good coating to make sure that it cures and hardens very well and keeps all your bulkheads at a perfect 90-degree angle. We now have all of our bulkheads epoxied to our jig. In the next episode, we'll take our time and install our engine rails and install the sides. Until then, we hope that you're enjoying all of the build videos, and we hope that you stay tuned and you watch for more. Okay, guys, before I leave you today, just a little teaser for you. We don't only have the missile to build, but there's also going to be a build series coming on the Enforcer Demon hydroplane. So you guys can look forward to a lot more coming from Twisted Liquid soon. We now have every part to build this boat at home, and we can't wait to get at it. So let me know what you think in the comments. Would you like to see another build series while we're doing the missile? Or would you like us to wait? Either way, we're going to build this boat eventually, so it's going on water this summer, guys. Get ready. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like and subscribe. Take care and stay safe.